you are still relatively new to drone work.
Yeah.
But the challenge I want to set you today is essentially to fly one of those at my head.
At your head.
Change is a funny thing. It can offer you some very tempting rewards, but in return, some equally big risks.
First things first, a lot is going to change, and a lot has changed in recent times. But before we get into that later in the video, I'll first introduce you to award-winning cinematographer Noah. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. What have you worked on? We'll throw a real brief montage up.
Yeah. Do that.
You're relatively new to FPV.
Yeah, I went down the rabbit hole like a year ago, and since then this is a few drones later, a few lost, a few crashed, and so this is a brand new rebuild, and I've learned a lot by error.
Yeah, the proper way.
Yeah. But I still have a lot. I'm probably like halfway down the rabbit hole.
Okay.
But I'm planning to go all the way to the bottom.
So why drones, why Noah, and I guess for some of you, where have I been the last few years? Well, I got the opportunity of a lifetime. I've been lucky enough to see behind the curtain in the wildlife TV industry, getting to travel to some incredible places, working on some of the biggest nature documentaries in the world, including the Americas, which, given how long they take to make, is at this time the only one that's actually available to watch and is currently on Peacock and iPlayer in the UK for those of you who are interested. All of this time I was working towards the end goal of becoming a camera operator. But as that end goal was starting to look like it might be within my grasp, I decided to make a big change, potentially negating all I've worked for over the last few years. So given that I'm making such a big change, I thought, who better to help me discuss this than a friend who's not only achieved that end goal that I spent so much time and effort chasing, but someone who did it by making their own fair share of big life changes along the way. And as for drones, well, taking a risk in pursuit of a captivating shot seemed to be a pretty good parallel for life at the moment, regardless of whether we get the shot or I'm just left with a bit of a headache.
I just want to point out how you know you're in a camera operator's house. I don't know if it really... No, can you stand beside that to show scale?
I think if you were here, like...
That's a proper print right there. That is... It's amazing.
Yeah. It's real size now.
A few years ago, Noah made a big change of his own, leaving his life as a gardener in Sweden to chase his dream career in Africa. And I think it's fair to say that's one risk he's glad he took.
So we got leopard prints, that's a subadult lion, but here we got Kujira, which was one of the female cubs we were filming, and that's Takunga, which was the male cub that you saw in the picture earlier, that was snogging her mom, Mochima, which is also this one.
That's epic.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
Present day, however, is not sunny, picturesque Africa with the long lenses and high-budget cameras he spent years mastering. It's the cloudy and cold coast of England with a hand-built drone that he appears far less familiar with than I first realised.
I started a year ago, but I've been away most of the year, so I haven't actually been flying for a year. I just have a couple of attempts.
So basically, he's barely flown any drone. Noah names all his drones after animals and sticks the animal sticker that he has for that animal on it. So there's, what ones have you got? The tortoise?
The tortoise is this. That's the goggles. And then I got the Furious Lion. That's that. And then now we've got the newest member to the family, the comedian. But yeah, so the next one is going to be waterproof.
Nice.
Then salt water. Salt water is always a bit of a problem, but
Yeah.
not as much of a problem.
One step at a time.
Yeah, one step at a time. I did make a waterproof drone. I didn't make it float though. That was a bit of a problem. I just didn't plan to crash it in the water. I
started to wonder about asking this guy to fly a drone at my head.
I'm also like, can I just shut up? Like,
Noah has a small collection of these FPV drones, and each one has a very short battery life, perhaps 3 minutes tops. That gives him a very short window to practice and then execute, getting close enough to my head for it to be an immersive and cinematic looking shot worthy of any overly self-indulgent YouTuber's comeback video.
we don't want too close to our heads, do we?
Not yet. Not yet.
You ready?
Yep.
so liberating.
There you go, easy. Easy! You got this! And he did, kinda. Despite a couple of misjudged turnings, Noah was confident enough to give it his first shot. At least that's what I assume he meant by the shrug. Smashed it. Smashed it. Right, so I'm walking, and the idea is that Noah, without me looking, will fly a drone from very low behind me, over my head, and then we'll play it back in slow motion. But I just have to walk and trust he's not gonna hit me. Hello.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah.
right?
How did that feel for you?
It seems good. What's weird for me is because I can't look back, I don't know when you're lining up for a run.
Mm-hmm.
So I just hear a constant whiz. I don't know like when you're just like figuring out where you are
Yeah.
or when you're actually going for it. So I don't know when to even brace myself.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's just there and you're
But
like, oh, okay.
I think that's a great plan because then if you just have a straight line, I know what you're doing and I can adjust and save from there.
100%.
But now I just wanted to to get a feel of it.
Yeah.
The battery is quite short.
Okay.
So it's good that we're like coming back because if you go too far away, waste so much battery going out. Yeah, I'm getting adrenaline.
After chatting a bit more about what we wanted the shot to look like and having a few more attempts that got incrementally closer. It's really hard not to react. With just one battery left and the wind picking up, Noah decided he was ready for one final push and the closest flight yet.
I really get catching the wind, man.
So you can probably hear that actually probably quite clearly. Noah's really fighting the wind because it's only a very, very small drone. But he's told me that if I go this way, then he should be able to get closer. Or he's going to hit.
I guess now would be a good time to explore Noah's seemingly optimistic approach to risk and how he doesn't let it stop him from making some rather big changes.
From living in Sweden, working as a gardener, to working in Botswana to working in the BBC, that looks like a straight curve. You see my point?
Yeah.
But it's a lot of up and downs there, and it's not to be afraid of them. I was dead scared when I was going to move to Botswana. I thought I'm not capable of what I'm signing up to. I thought I had a lot of doubt, and the doubts all came when I was at the airport.
Okay.
And the easy thing would have been to just let me walk back. Let me not go on that plane. You very seldom regret doing something, but you might regret not doing it. And I think to challenge yourself, like if you have a goal or a light in the tunnel, like just how do you do to follow that path? It just makes your life decisions a bit easier. So I was obviously highly passionate about African fauna and wildlife and wanted to explore it and witness it with my own eyes. And preferably with a camera in my hand.
Yeah.
So what do I need to do? I need to get a plane ticket and a camera and go.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so scary.
Noah's right. Change is scary. But as he put it, he had a firm and clear goal that kept him on track through the ups and downs, and that landed him where he is today, living his dream, working as a fully fledged camera operator. Whereas for me, I think I may have slightly lost sight of what my goal always was. 3 years ago, when the opportunity to work on these incredible documentaries that I grew up enthralled by landed at my feet, I couldn't say no. I dived in, and I'm so glad I did. I got to meet some incredible people, see amazing places and witness spectacular wildlife. However, despite all this, something was still missing. I was feeling less and less happy. The work-life balance just didn't feel right. I wasn't seeing my friends or family anywhere near as much as I should, and the travelling to the other side of the world on a regular basis put an undeniable strain on relationships. Though the biggest reason for me coming to this conclusion was the realisation that my goal wasn't ever to be a camera operator. I've always been fascinated with animals and especially British wildlife. From a very young age, the thing I loved most was trying to fascinate others by reciting useless trivia or simply by showing people. I fell in love with photography and consequently YouTube because it was the best tool for that, more so in my opinion than anything I could possibly achieve as a camera operator in wildlife TV. So what next? Well, I'm throwing myself back into YouTube. I want to share my love of British wildlife and the things in nature so often overlooked with the rest of the world, and hopefully encourage others to join me in discovering new things in old places. I've got my eyes fixed on my goal and I'm ready to face this change head on, knowing the potential reward is worth any risk along the way. I'm going to be releasing new videos on the first Monday of every month at a minimum, with some extras every now and again, starting with an old video I never quite got around to finishing. Good day, dear people. That will be released right after this one. I'll also have the occasional extra bit on my Patreon. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.
Run that around. You need to go. Yep, I felt that one.